Hey, how are you doing?
Good, not bad. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to see you.
Good, and you?
So you are in Missouri?
St. Louis, St. Charles.
St. Charles, yeah. But you're not in Missouri. You're just in Missouri.
Oh, no, it's been pretty good, pretty relaxed, laid back. Only 5 dates over like 7 or 8 days, so it's not bad.
So this is episode 2 of our podcast regarding the I'm Told I Had a Good Time book, which is coming soon to your mailboxes if you order one. If you haven't, you can go to beatlandbooks.com and pre-order one now. I heard from the printers yesterday that they are bundling everything up and about to ship it over. And so everything is on time and maybe a little ahead of time, maybe. We're
Great.
fingers crossed for that. But what I thought we'd do today is, there's over 1,200 images in this book, and but what I think, without revealing everything, most people would think, well, it's a Micky Dolenz book. It's probably just mostly Micky Dolenz stuff. But the primary people you took photos of in this era, in this volume one, are the Monkees. So I thought we would go over some of the Monkees photos today in this and show a few things and talk a little bit about it. So the earliest photos, inevitably, were the pilot. You had some kind of 35 millimeter camera that you brought down to San Diego when you're filming the pilot in October of 65. And here you are made up and on the set. This is outside the Hotel
Like,
Coronado. The Coronado's behind you and you're on the beach. And you handed off your camera to somebody on the set to capture some stuff. You got, well, here's your original script and your contract. And here you are buried up to your neck with Mike and Peter, who you just met. Really?
yeah, I mean, I'd met him, I guess, like I've said before, I remember Davey from the audition, but I think it's because we had a lot in common, both child stars, he in England and me in the States. So we kind of knew the process of screen tests and stuff like that. I kind of remember him vaguely. Don't remember Mike and Peter at all. But I do remember, for some weird reason, the day we kind of met, and it was at a wardrobe fitting, and I guess I remember because it's the same wardrobe department that I was at as circus boy in the 50s, and everybody on the lot, Columbia lot, they recognized me. And I remember when I went through the gate on my way to the wardrobe fitting, it was the same guard on the gate as that was there when I was doing Circus Boy 10 years before. He said, "Hey, Mickey, heard you got a new show." It's like, great. So I remember, and I remember it vaguely. One of the producers said, "Mickey, this is Mike and Peter, Davey, Mike, Mickey. You guys are the Monkees." And
Yeah.
that first picture you showed cracks me up because I remember my hair because at the time my hair was kind of, well, you've seen it in pictures of me as Mickey and the One Nighters, and it's that comb back kind of thing, like a little bit of a pompadour kind of thing, and that's the kind of hair I had at the time. And of course, when we were doing this, the show, there it is. That was what I looked like at the audition. But then I guess it would have been hair and makeup. They didn't want to put a wig on me because just the pilot, and so they just kind of all combed it down, maybe trimmed it a bit.
Yeah, you went
Looked
in
pretty.
that mode a little bit for your folk when you're doing your folk thing, which is just around the Monkees time. You had your hair brushed forward for that too. There's a beautiful photo, a 35 millimeter negative we found. You were doing sort of a duo with Coco at times prior to the Monkees, as well as your rock band.
Yeah.
There's some other great stuff with the Monkees. When you started doing the show the next year in 1966, in your collection you kept not only photos that you personally took on your camera or handed off to people, but your original scripts here and call sheets and
Yeah.
telegrams. You had lots of telegrams. So like these are photos shot in October of '66. You brought your camera down to the set because you did.
Wow, that's cool. That script, that's the one that Monkees is spelled. Is that the pilot script?
No, this is one of the regular season ones. This is from One Man Shy, and so all of these are from that. And then I broke up the photos here with to do with the which script you had and which photos. This is Monkees in Manhattan, and here you are off over here, and here's Nez up here. So there's a big section of the stuff from the first season where it's your personal photos that have never been published before are in the book. And then getting into kind of a bit later on, you know, when you went on tour, we talked about in the last one, all these 126 photos. Here's beautiful photos of Davey down in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning of the '67 summer tour of the U.S. And you just shot rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls of film. I mean, it's incredible how much you shot. It's just unbelievable. Really,
it was, you know, it was a way of, excuse me, it was kind of a way of I don't know, marking time. You know, we were on tour. We couldn't really leave the hotels much and go out because of the fans and stuff. And I got that little camera, and it had, I think I told you, the little cube of 4 flash tubes in a little cube, and you'd put it on the camera, and so you could quickly shoot. It was automatic, and it would just go pew 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 pew. And so there's a lot of stuff that you can see that you can tell I just was shooting crazy.
Yeah, so this is sort of what the camera looked like, the 126 that was introduced around the same time that you got it. And here's an ad for it. And these are some of your earliest images in France with Samantha. And then moving on to the tour, you know, you documented some stuff that I wouldn't, you know, even me with all my research wouldn't have otherwise known even happened. Like I found all of these photos of you in Miami down at a television studio filming a television, like a promo is all I can guess. You have a lot of photos of it. There are the other Monkees, because obviously you're taking the photo there. And you're down in this TV studio making a film that has never turned up anywhere, but probably a promotion for the television show or your concerts or something like that. Here's some of the photos.
Wow.
But, yeah, just it was amazing going through and not only finding the stuff, but then figuring out what it was and when it was from, and looking for every little clue of, sometimes you wrote on things, sometimes you didn't write on things. So it was really a joy to discover and then get your feedback too, because what we did was, when I would find all the photos and then sort of get them into a sequence, I would show them to you, and then we taped about 20 to 25 hours worth of interviews of just really your first reaction, like a psychology test or something like that. It's the first thing that pops into your head. So that's what a lot of the writing in the book is your recollections upon seeing these things for the first time ever, and then going back over them and looking into them.
Yeah, I was quite surprised myself. Some of the stuff I had no recollection of, as you remember, and other stuff I don't even know why I kept it. You know, some weird stuff that and I was looking at it going, why in the world did I keep that? But, you know, here we are. And hopefully the fans will find stuff of interest.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's a lot of individual shots of the other Monkees because you were shooting them, but occasionally, as I say, you would hand off your camera to other people. So here's a great backstage shot of the 4 of you. Michael Graber, who was your hairdresser, is off here to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Little clues. And Michael backstage looking at a record, and then the designer of this book actually figured out it was an album from 1963, Vicente Gomez, Guitar Extraordinary. So what that record was doing backstage at your show and whatever, but we tried to look for every little clue in these photos to give as much information as possible. One thing I thought was very interesting was a beautiful photo of you with your famous tablecloth here with Samantha. Really one of the nicest ones, and unpublished too. But I was telling you, it was really strange. Sly and the Family Stone, a member of the Sly and the Family Stone, borrowed your tablecloth or got it for this photo shoot for a European edition of their Dance to the Music album, and he's pictured on the cover wearing your tablecloth, because it was not something that was a manufactured item. I mean, it was something you picked up, and then your mother-in-law to be and your wife to be kind of modified it for you.
Yep, it was a tablecloth. I don't know. Hey, it was the 60s. What can I tell you? And I just thought it'd be cool. And they cut a hole and cut a hole in the middle and hemmed it. And I wore it all the time, much to Samantha's dismay, I think, at times. Because, well, anyway, but it became, I guess, kind of iconic. I have no idea how the Sly and the Family Stone got a hold of it. I must have loaned it to him or whatever.
Well, and seemingly you got it back, because in the first movie you made after the Monkees, Keep Off My Grass, you're pictured, you're filmed in that the tablecloth. That's the last time it's seen. I don't know what happened to it after that, but
I don't know, but I sure wish the hell I'd have kept it.
Well, it's great to the some of the great shots in that video of shiny happy people of you riding along with the hat on are shot in New Orleans while you're making that movie, Keep Off My Grass. So, and we talk about all the movies that you were doing in that early 70s era in the book are in there as well. Were there any surprises? I know everything was kind of a surprise to you, of like, wow, that turned up. I know you call me and ask me for specific things, but was there anything you were specifically thrilled that was uncovered? Or
well, tons of it. I mean, excuse me, I would say I can't even think of one thing. It was so much stuff that I had no idea I'd kept, especially the photographs I vaguely would remember, the incident or the time and place or something like that. But it was like the little bits of paper you found, even like my report cards from grade school. Now, my mom would have been the one to keep those, I suppose. But finding stuff like that, or little receipts of things, you found some receipt from England, I remember, and goodness knows why I kept it, but glad I did.
Yeah, it was from the Apple boutique. The Beatles had a short-lived boutique, and it had what you bought there in 1968. Like, I even found stuff like this envelope that your father wrote on the back of this envelope, where your public appearances, your first personal appearances, were. This is like his little, just sketching it out when you started touring in promotion of Circus Boy. So there are lots of great little bits and pieces. One last thing I'll say before we wrap up for this episode is you used to do slideshows too with your 35 millimeter slides, and you made these custom slides to screen for your friends that say Micky Dolenz presents, or a slideshow presented by King Frodis. So,
yeah.
So
at the house, we used to have slideshows, myself and Henry Diltz, good old my dear friend Henry. We would do well, he always did them and still does, and he got me into it, and I started shooting slides, and we would have slideshows, and then we would show a movie. I had 16 millimeter cameras, projectors mounted up on the wall, and we would show a movie.
That's great. I'm sure it was a really cool scene, and we've been going through all of your movies too, and there's screen caps from the movies. But anybody who's watched the first episode or this episode, you can comment and tell your friends to subscribe. If you put some questions in our comment section, we will answer them in our next episode. I'll look for them. And I want to thank Micky, who's out on the road right now and be back home in Los Angeles soon. We'll be waiting for the books. He's already signed all the books. The signature pages are bound into the books, and you can go to beatlandbooks.com to pre-order and find out about the 3 different versions of the book. We'll be shipping them out as soon as we get them. And next week, we'll go through the book a little bit more, come up with another little section to talk about.
Great. See you, Andrew. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mickey.